Hi, I'm Alyssa Ford Morell. I'm an Extension Master Gardener with the Master Gardeners of Northern Virginia. Here today to talk about an invasive plant, Hemerocallis fulva, Common Daylily. But before I talk a lot about the daylilies, I want to make sure that we are on the same page about what invasiveness is. Invasiveness was defined back in 1999 when President Clinton signed Executive Order 13112, which was later amended by President Obama in 2016 when he signed Executive Order 13751. And together, those executive orders say that an invasive plant is a plant that is not native to the area in which it is occurring. It is capable of escaping cultivation and getting into the wild and causing harm. Harm to the economy, harm to the environment, or harm to human, animal, or plant health. Daylilies are very pretty. They're bright and summery, so people really like them. They've been being imported from Asia since the early 1800s and have established themselves throughout America. They are almost everywhere. They're in gardens, they're in forest edges, they're by streams, probably just about everywhere except for inside the forest. They spread by their rhizome roots. They don't actually spread very much by seed. So they travel through the ground and they create thick infestations that overtakes and blocks out other native plants.
To avoid confusion, I want to make it clear that it is only the non-native straight species, Hemerocallis fulva, that is invasive. There are a number of very attractive Hemerocallis hybrids that are denoted with a name in single quotes after the word Hemerocallis that are not invasive because they form clumping habits. Here you can see some of the invasive Hemerocallis fulva that has gotten out into Arlington's wild spaces and is reproducing. The best way to remove daylilies are to dig them out. You may need to redig if you miss some of the roots, but they're generally able to be removed by digging. Fortunately, once you have gotten rid of them, we have 3 great native alternatives for you to replace them with. The first native replacement I'd like to suggest is Turk's cap lily, Lilium superbum, and it really is a superb flower with orange petals and maroon spots on petals that curl back. Each plant can hold many flowers, and they can be quite large and dramatic. The leaves are smooth and lance-shaped and are held in a whorl around the stems. These lilies like moist to wet soil and sun to partial shade. They may need support as they get quite tall, and when they have a lot of flowers, they can be a little bit top heavy.
Our second replacement for the invasive daylilies are another similarly colored flower that blooms profusely in the mid to late summer. We tend to call this group of flowers all black-eyed Susans, but in fact, they're a group of 3 closely related cousins: Rudbeckia fulgita, the orange coneflower, Rudbeckia hirta, the black-eyed Susan, and Rudbeckia triloba, the brown-eyed Susan. They all look quite similar. The triloba obviously has leaves that have 3 lobes to them. There are differences, but they all like sun to light shade. They all like dry to moist soil. They all form this nice clumping habit here. You can see I actually planted this. This is my front yard, And I put in just a few of these Susans, and they've spread into this lovely carpet. I actually, at this point, need to pull some out each year in order to contain this bed from getting too large. Uh, they are wonderful supporters of wildlife. There are all sorts of bees and butterflies that will nectar on these flowers. And after they go to seed, you'll absolutely get some wonderful goldfinches that will eat the seeds out of the flowers. If you leave the seed heads up through winter, you'll get goldfinches visiting all winter long, which can be a lot of fun. They're a great flower to replace the daylily. The third replacement plant that we have for invasive daylilies,
Is Heliopsis helianthoides.
oxeye or false sunflower. And as you can see, these are a little bit taller. They can grow up to 5 feet tall. And the flowers can be larger. These ones are not all that big, but they can grow to be a good deal bigger than this. It's a really happy sunflower type of flower that'll brighten up any garden. It's going to attract all sorts of insects that will really like the nectar. You'll get bees and butterflies visiting. And again, these seed heads will be appealing to birds in the winter as they need some food. So this is a great plant. It can benefit, if you like, from what is sometimes called the Chelsea chop, which means cutting a taller plant as it's growing in summertime. You don't want to cut past the beginning of July, but if you cut it in half in May or June as it's growing, it will become more full and a little bit of a shorter plant. So this is a really nice plant to try instead of the daylilies. Whichever plant you choose to replace invasive daylilies, I wish you happy gardening.